Hi, welcome to my podcast, Becoming a Cut Flower Grower. I'm your host, Lydia, and I'm here to share my year of growing and selling cut flowers. I'll be giving you the lowdown on everything I'm doing and sharing all the highs and lows, the good times and the inevitable disasters, all in real time. Join me on my cut flower journey, starting right now. Okay, so here's the first complete disaster of the year. So I got up to the plot this morning and I was expecting to find all the water bowsers full, and what I've done is forgot to turn the one off last night that feeds a water bowl. So I've lost hundreds and hundreds of litres of water last night. So not only have I not actually stored any water, I've lost loads of water, and because I've left this tap running, it's filled up the water butt, and then the water butt's just been overflowing all night basically. And so the number one water butt, which is connected to 2 and 3, that has obviously filled up and overflowed all the way down the entire system. So at the most crucial point, when we've been waiting absolutely weeks and weeks for water, I've got less than we started with yesterday, which is so devastating, and I'm so cross with myself. I even have a reminder on my phone to remember to turn the tap off, and I forgot last night because I was trying to do too many things as usual. And this is what happens when you don't concentrate. And I can't believe that. I'm absolutely devastated. This leaves me in a really bad position in terms of water, not just for all the plants and everything, but for how much water the ducks get. And everybody is so stupid. I'm so stupid. So yeah, what a mistake to make. Well, I did promise you highs and lows, and that is definitely one of the lows. And I'm back at home now and still can't quite wrap my head around about how stupid I've been. And after I stopped crying, I had a look at the bowsers and tried to work out exactly how much water I've lost, and it's a little bit over 1,400 litres, which is just absolutely horrific. I'm just so furious with myself at this time, and we're hardly even getting any rain later this week, nothing till maybe the end of next week. And you know what I've got left is not going to last. So yeah, terrible position to be in. And yeah, there we go. And just, you know, as if my day couldn't get any worse, I came home and went round to see what was going on with the seedlings, and I'd forgotten to close the greenhouse last night as well. I mean, I just I don't even know what happened to my brain yesterday. But clearly I forgot everything. And every day I go and have my coffee outside with my seedlings, and I have a chat with them, and we talk about who's going where and what. And I didn't this morning because it was cold and drizzling, and I've it's like I forgot that I actually have a whole life outside in the greenhouse. So I got home this morning from the plot and everybody's fine in the greenhouse, but they're probably cursing me inside. And lucky we didn't have a frost, really, because that would have just been the end of days. So I spent yesterday splitting the dahlias that I was given by Richard Bailey, and that was actually really successful, except that when I split them, you're supposed to cover the wounds of the tubers with sulfur powder. And I've never actually had sulfur powder in stock. I've always considered it, rightly or wrongly, one of those kind of old-fashioned products. And I've never ever had a use for it before, never split dahlias before, so I've just never had any in the house. And so when I was splitting them yesterday, I didn't have anything to cut the wounds with, so I let them air dry yesterday, and luckily I did actually remember to bring them inside the house. So those guys need potting up today, because it looks like the cuts have kind of air dried and healed over, and they should be safe because obviously sulfur acts as a fungicide and you don't want any fungal infections in there. And I think if I pot them up with shop bought compost, which I have a bag of rather than my own homemade, hopefully there's a lot less risk of them getting any kind of bacterial infection in any of the wound that hasn't completely healed. But I do want to get them potted up today because they're all shooting and the shoots are now wilting. So I think this is probably just going to go down as not my week, possibly this one. I'm fairly confident I'm not going to lose any of the tubers. I will get them in some compost today and get them lightly watered, and hopefully that will be fine. So over the weekend I planted out the cornflowers, and I've actually put a little video on my @HenHillCutFlowers Instagram just to show you what they look like, because they had a really fantastic root structure in the little trays and I wanted to show you guys. So I've done a little video and it's up there, and also you can see the string mesh netting that I made. I was yakking on about that in my last episode as well, and I just made a kind of grid structure that's about 1 meter by 1 meter, very roughly, divided into 25 squares. So each cornflower plant, each seedling, goes into one of those squares. So I can get the spacing right and not do it by eye, and then get to the end of 1 meter and find that the lines have all gone wobbly. So I've done that. Managed to do that without any disasters. And yesterday I spent the afternoon planting out my sweet peas, and those guys had done really, really well. I've taken a little video of that, which I'll put on the Instagram as well, so you can see what I did. They went out in their toilet rolls. I left them in their toilet rolls, and they've been planted up against these 6-foot tall metal fence panels, which they're going to be tied into. And so I just sort of dug one massive trench at the bottom of the fence panel, lined them all up, and then backfilled the trench. And that worked really well. It was really quick, actually, to do. And I had a look at them this morning, and they seem to have settled in very well, which is great. They're not tall enough to need tying in yet, and I also need to look at pinching them out, whether or not I actually do that, because I don't particularly want bushy sweet peas, which I know is why you do pinch them out. I want them to be as tall as possible, because I'm intending to cut the entire plant down, and when there's plenty of flowers on the plant, and just sell an entire plant. So not at all be cutting individual sweet pea stems and selling them like short, because even though they have longer stems, because I've bought more of a sort of cut flower exhibition types, my plan is to sell to the florist the entire stem so that she can do arrangements with them. She can use them when she's doing her wedding. So I need to do a bit of research and see if I still need to pinch them out, because my gut feeling says no, don't pinch them, but I need to look that up. So I've sown a lot more zinnias and another batch of cornflowers, and done a reconciliation of actually how many seedlings I had poking above the ground as of yesterday, and the numbers were pretty good, actually. I was pretty happy with how many we've got. But as I say, I'm just going to keep sowing them, because even if I run out of space, I might be able to just shove them in all different places, and if not, I'll still be able to sell the plants anyway. So that's fine. I've been doing battle the last couple of days trying to get hold of a 4-meter long pole saw to do some pollarding on a tree that I'm going to be doing tomorrow. And you honestly wouldn't think it was so difficult in the south of England to hire a 4-meter long pole saw. I mean, I was watching the launch of Jeff Bezos's rocket into space yesterday, and just thinking that's so amazing. How is it possible that some people can get a rocket to go up into space and cruise around and then land back down and everything's fine? And there aren't enough 4 meter long pole saws in the south of England. Like, how does that even work? Maybe I should just give up trying to be a cut flower and just hire out pole saws, 4 meter long pole saws, because there just aren't any. Drives me mad, stuff like that. Anyway, yes, it's just not going to be my week. The dog is also having a phantom pregnancy. I've been trying to work out what's wrong with her for the last few days. She's been really not herself, and lots of carrying toys around and crying and nest building everywhere. And I thought it was like her anxiety. And so I've changed her meds a little bit to try and calm her down. And then I was looking on the internet for some symptoms last night, and seems to be that she's got all the symptoms of having a phantom pregnancy, which would tie in with when her last season was. So that's just something else that's going on, because it's quite disconcerting. And as you know, if you've been listening to the last couple of episodes, I've been talking quite honestly and quite frankly about how I've been feeling at the moment, and the nerves, the anxiety that goes with starting up a new enterprise, and the financial pressures, and doubts that you're going to be able to do what you want to achieve, and the fact that there's no revenue coming in for quite some time, and how it's all quite stressful. And I'm trying to be really positive when I'm around the dog, because she's very sensitive, and pets pick up on how we feel, and I don't want her to be feeling stressed, because I've got everything under control. I keep telling her it's fine, and she'll never go short of anything she ever needs. So I've been blaming myself. Have I made the dog ill because I'm stressing about how things are going at the moment? And somebody said to me, "Oh, well, it'll be your fault because she's picking up on you." And I wasn't doing that in a male voice, but actually, because it's not a man person that said that to me. So I've been having all that kind of mum guilt as well, that, am I just ruining the dog's life? And hopefully, if she is having a phantom pregnancy, it's not my fault. So I can take some comfort from that. I'd like to say hello to new followers on Instagram. I always love to see new people who've taken the time to hop over to Instagram and follow me, and I will get round to following you all back. I wanted to take the time to look at your profiles properly, and go through the pictures and stuff, and not just click follow back and then not actually take the time to do it. So I will do that. I'd like to say a special thank you to 57th Parallel Gardening, because they sent me a really, really lovely message about following my journey and sharing that they were also starting to grow cut flowers this year. And that is really exciting. And I am going to be following your journey back, and we're going to be going through this together, although I hope you're having a far less stressful time than I am. But it's really, really lovely to see the journeys that you are going on as well. So that is lovely. And also a shout out to Jackie, who sent me a really lovely message after my emotional brain dump last week when I said how stressful I was finding everything. And she sent me a really nice message as well. And that means a lot to me, to know that you are, not just that you're listening, but that what I say connects with you in some way. And, I think us ladies, us gardeners, us growers, we need to stick together, because there's a lot of really awful, scary, unpleasant stuff happening in the world, and a lot of it is out of our control, and we can really only deal with what's in our immediate environment and try and make that as good as we possibly can. And barring stupid decisions that I make that mess up my own life, it's I have to keep remembering that it will all pan out in the end. This is just a terrible blip, and I'm going to set up some more reminders on my phone for the tasks that I need to remember to do, so that I don't start the day in floods of tears. And
Yeah.
Right, I am going to finish this episode on a positive note. I have put on my big curl pants and I'm going off to pot up the dahlias that I split yesterday. And I'm going to go and sow some peas. And I'm also going to sow this week's batch of seeds, which, thanks to my amazing chart, which I made when my brain was 100% firing on all cylinders, I know that I just need to go out there and sow some didiscus, scabious, pink and blue nigella, and some more calendula. The calendula so far, they've been really disappointing. And for some reason, I thought these guys were going to be the easiest ones to do. Like, they're pot marigolds. Like, how difficult can it be? And mine have had a really disappointing germination rate. So it's either me or it's the seeds or, well, I don't know. I'm guessing it's just the seeds because I've used the same technique for them as I have for everything else, and everything else is doing brilliantly. So I'm going to go and do another batch, and fingers crossed these guys will be better. So I hope that I will have a more productive afternoon, but I hope you have a great rest of the week, and I will be back with another episode on Friday, I think, which I know it's Good Friday, but I hate it when my regular podcasts take a break over Christmas and holidays and stuff. I really miss them when they're not there, and I hate that they all just go off and take a break. So I'm planning to do mine on Friday as normal. And if anybody, doesn't celebrate Easter or, doesn't make a big thing about it, then you will be able to join me. And if you are doing special stuff over Easter, then the podcast will still be here when you get back from whatever you're doing. So until then, I will catch you later.